Hi, Deepti. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this essay for you today. Let's take a look. You supplied your own topic. Let's see what it is. These days, people work in more than one job, often change career several times during their life. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Okay, fine. Let's see what you wrote. Nowadays, it is very common that people change their career so often that sometimes it looks like they change it on a whim. Many people like to change their job based on what they feel about their field at a certain time and not afraid to make necessary changes for their growth. However, this culture can be very harmful despite of being very beneficial and lucrative. In this essay, we'll discuss both pros and cons, changing careers, and try to draw some conclusions. Okay. Let's see. There's a handful of things that I want to tell you about this essay. The first thing that I noticed is the really limited vocabulary as far as the word change. So take a look at this. You've got one, two, three, four, okay, just in the first four lines. And then in this one line, you didn't have it at all. And then again, change. So in one paragraph, you have the word change or changing 5 times. It's really too much. So that's a sign that something went wrong here. You either didn't use sufficient vocabulary, you didn't use enough of a range, enough of a variety of words, or maybe something in terms of the structure of this needs a little work, but you don't want to use the same word like that 5 times, okay? All right, and then there were some grammatical and lexical problems other than that. So let's kind of switch this up a little bit, and I'll make some suggestions as much as I can. So nowadays, it is very common for people to change their career. And I didn't really think that this was relevant. It's a nice piece of vocabulary. I understand that you probably want to show that, but it didn't really fit. So I wouldn't even have bothered writing it. So let's see. Nowadays, it is very common for people to change their career. Sometimes based on how they feel about their field at a certain time. I wasn't really sure what you were trying to say here. You can see I'm trying to fit it all into one sentence. So let's try it again. You stop here. Some people try to change their career so often. And then I didn't understand this. I'm not really sure what you're trying to say there. They are not. It depends on what they feel about their field at a certain time, and this was grammatically wrong. And they are not afraid to make necessary changes for their growth. Let's see. Let me try it one more time, okay? So nowadays, it is very common for people to change their jobs so often. Sometimes based on how they feel about their field at a certain time, full stop. However, this culture can be very harmful, uh, but also very beneficial and lucrative, despite of, we don't say, we say in spite of, but despite, even if you had done it correctly, still doesn't fit in this context, okay? So as you can see here, Deepti, there's quite a handful of problems in terms of grammar, in terms of what you included in your introduction, and of course, this lack of vocabulary. It was just change, change, change over and over, and you needed to do something a little different there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, transition instead of change or, metamorphosis instead of change. Sometimes students are tempted to do that kind of thing as well. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting that perhaps you could have changed around, there's that word change, you could have done your sentences a little differently so that you wouldn't have to use that same word over and over. All right, let's move on though. Let's start by looking at the positives of changing career. One of the main aspects, this feels a little too informal to me. I mean, you're not having a conversation with somebody. It's supposed to be an essay. And so it should have an appropriate tone. I'm not saying that has to be super, super formal, but this does feel a little bit conversational, more conversational than appropriate for an essay. What you could have done instead here to have a nice clear topic sentence is something like, clearly there are many positives of changing career. Okay. Or many advantages are associated with changing career. Okay, something like that would have been fine. One of the main aspects of it is it gives an opportunity to explore many fields and figure out what suits you best. For instance, a person might not be very well aware of what interests that person while doing some professional course. I have, I think you mean a few friends. I have a few friends who changed their career in totally different fields from programmer to football coach. As they have many interests to pursue as a career, careful, you're more or less equally successful in other areas too. Okay. Another benefit, careful with your spelling, is that it gives you many job prospects in different areas. For example, if a person is a good programmer and leader, one can choose any option depending on what is easily available. Okay, so this is fine. I did have one minor, well, did have one concern. In the beginning of the paragraph, I didn't really feel like the sentences were particularly well linked together. Let me show you what I mean. So, okay, it gives you an opportunity to explore many fields and finds what suits you. And then you have this, for instance, here, and then you have another example of your friends. So I didn't feel like these were tightly linked together. It's like you had these three separate ideas and you didn't really know how to join them. And so you just kind of put them out there. I would have liked to see a better connection. I felt like the rest of this was done better. Okay. All right, let's move on. So turning to the other side of the argument, one of the biggest disadvantages is that it might prove a bit difficult to establish a new career. Some people find it too challenging and risky to try a different career. S, you need an E here, especially after a certain career stage. Okay, another drawback of changing careers, you need an S here, is it slows down the perfection of a specific field. We don't really say that. That vocabulary here is a little awkward. If a person is changing many jobs, it might happen that that person is lacking deep knowledge and skills in any of the jobs. Okay. For instance, if a person changes job from an individual contributor, you know here, to a lead position, I don't understand that. He or she might not be good at any position as skills require time to sharpen in any field. Okay, hold on one second. I want to see something here. Okay, fine. To sum up, there are both advantages and disadvantages of changing career. While it can be very beneficial, no. While it can be a very beneficial learning, no. Let's see what happened here. While it can be very beneficial learning, I don't understand your grammar here. It's not clear to me what you're trying to say here, and the grammar is off, and so I'm not really sure what happened. While it can be very beneficial, you know what? Let's do it one more time. While it can be a very beneficial learning experience for some people, that fixes it. Other people may find it difficult to, not to establish. You said that here too, difficult to establish, but you said what you have to establish. Here you don't have an object, and so it seems a little awkward. People may find it difficult to do, yeah, I'm not really sure what else you could have done. In my view, there should be a balance of risk and following interest, but one should not be too afraid to explore other opportunities. Okay, so Deepti, I thought you did some good things here. I definitely see some errors in terms of grammar, in terms of coherence and cohesion. I already told you about some of the vocabulary things that I saw. Um, I I have to read your email. I know you did write us some details about yourself. So now I know a little bit about your IELTS background. You didn't actually mention when you plan to take IELTS again. So if we assume that you have even just a little bit of time, even like 2 or 3 weeks, then you can certainly sign up for some essay corrections with us. There are packages available so that you can continue to work with us, and then we can give you feedback and some structure and some advice on how to correct and how to fix your essays. And of course, your task one. I'd love to see what you're doing with task one. If you're looking for something a little more comprehensive, then I definitely recommend the online course. That's a great way. It covers everything. So that's a great way to prepare for IELTS if you'd like a little more information. And so take a look at both of those options. I really would like to see you working with us. I think we have a lot to help you prepare and to really do really well on the exam. So I look forward to working with you in the future, and lots of luck to you.